This mail video will concern a single seller. A little bit hard to make it out, but it's Dan's Small Parts and Kits. If you just Google Dan's Small Parts, you'll get this guy's website. Now, I buy from Dan once every 3 or 4 years when I get the urge. This particular order was instigated by the fact he has some parts that I needed, I think. It's a very interesting website. There's no part number. He must have 20,000 different parts. You just describe what you want. His order form is just a place to write that down. No online, it was sales. He does offer free shipping if you meet 2 conditions. One is a $100 order or more. Second is you pay him with a postal money order. I usually just order $100 plus worth of stuff and put the cash in the envelope. It's always come back. The order has always been filled. I might be safe to cut this. Okay. Well, apparently I missed something. What I wanted was these piston capacitors, and he has a note here that says they're sold out. And he must have said that in his listing, and I missed it. Perhaps he's replaced it, I'm not sure. Anyway, this is what my order form to him looked like. In the past, he's always mailed me change in coinage, so I just told him to keep the change. And these are colored gum bands. So we got 4 bags here. And this will just be a whole hodgepodge of strange components. We have a whole bunch of these capacitors, all different shapes and sizes. So these must be all of these, well, I don't know about these. All of these polyester film capacitors. Well, some of them. And these cost like $25 for $1. You can see that here. And if that was half of them, this is the other half. See any writing on this? So that's probably all of these. Right down through here. I have an assortment of metallized. Well, these are probably all the film radio. Oh, there's more. So now we're into some different kinds of stuff. So this must be a little ceramic or a little glass piston trimmer. It's adjustable. Yes. And these probably he substituted for the ones I wanted, which he says were marked out of stock. And he's probably right. These are some metal cased 2N222s. 2N2222. And they have a date code of 0944. But it's not often you see a metal cased 2N2222. American made, I think. Now these are pricey. These were 75 cents a piece. I think you can get them from China for 2-3 cents a piece. Don't buy these. This is an assortment of these. The problem with assortments is you have to sort them out. Here's some 33 picofarad. What are they? Just plain Jane capacitors, 25 for $1. I'm going to guess that these are these 25 to 80 picofarad trimmers. Although I don't see how, unless they're covered with protective film, how they can be adjusted. Alright, they have a removable, I hope that it's removable, plastic cover on top, which is why they're stuck together. Maybe you remove that after you've soldered them and then cleaned them. and they are adjustable. See, they have a little crust in them, and they're probably just single turn. What are they? 2.5 to 80 picofarad capacitors. So that's pretty nifty. And they were 10 for $4.50. Capacitors. And let me show you how they work. These are not two terminal wires. This is a solid wire feeding through here. Okay? The other terminal of the capacitor is here. Annular connection. And it's designed to fit in a very small hole. This diameter hole. Through a bulkhead where it's soldered. So that there is a capacitor between here and ground, considering that the bulkhead, the wall of the case or enclosure is at ground. So this gives me a way of going into an enclosure, say with 12 volts DC, and bypassing it with a capacitor to ground, while maintaining the RF integrity of the bulkhead. These are the same thing, down here a little bit, except there's a ceramic insulator here and here, where my thumbnails are. And I would have to put a wire, this hole doesn't go through. I'd have to solder a wire here, in the hole. Same thing over here, in the hole. And then put this through a bulkhead with the holes that, come on folks, with a hole that's this diameter. I can't push it through because of the flange, which is insulated, as you can see by these two ceramic things. So the difference between these are the diameter, the capacitance, and the fact that one's leaded and one's not. And they're called feed-through capacitors. There should be four different feed-through capacitors. I'm not sure which ones these two are. We can measure the capacity though. I think that's all that was in that bag. So my intention is to build an RF tight enclosure and feed power to it through openings that are bypassed to ground with a feed-through capacitor. That's two of them. What do we have here? Two more assortments of capacitors. Four. Five rolls of solder. Okay. 2 more feed-through capacitors, leaded, but different dimensions. This is full metal construction. This is ceramic on both sides, but with heavy leads. And what do we have here? These are crystal sockets. Alright, now I'm not going to cut the leads off the crystal to make it fit flush, but these are sockets for these crystals. They're either to be pressed in a hole or soldered to a board. Some little orange, oh, I know what these are. These are Murata 455 kilohertz filters, I'll bet. Yeah, Murata 2-pin IF filters, and they were 20 for $5. The feed-through capacitors were about 20 for $5. Here's one that was 100 for $6, 25 for $4, 20 for $6.50. So, and the crystal sockets were 2 for $1. And the last thing we have here are these rolls of solder. So these are 5 feet approximately of tin, lead, and 2% silver with rosin core. And they were each $1 a roll. So this used to be very popular for fixing Tektronix oscilloscopes. In fact, in the older tube style Tektronix scopes, you got a small roll inside the scope in case you had to replace any components. Tektronix wanted to make sure you used the right solder. These did not come. Okay. So I have a bunch of odd things, a bunch of feed-throughs, and a whole bunch of capacitors. And all of this cost me $102. These little, we looked at them, trimmers were 10 for $4.50 in case I didn't mention it. Anyway, just for fun, if no other reason, take a look at Dan's site. It's a real rat hole. You can follow into it very easily. But you see, nothing has a part number. I cut and pasted this information off his website. If I wanted more, I misspelled that. Here, for example, they're 75 cents a piece. I said 10 for $7.50. Here I just took whatever he had for sale, extended over. Same thing here. 25 for $1. I ordered 50 of them and gave him $2. No part numbers, just text. I didn't date this, but the order came in about a week. So I've dealt with Dan for perhaps maybe as much as 20 years. Always been a good guy to deal with. I never met Dan, and I never had occasion to talk to him.